Hello there, my name is Jasmine Sky, and I'm here today for the final of my series of most anticipated 2022 book releases. I did my most anticipated middle grade release video a couple weeks ago, and then I did my most anticipated YA releases video last week. So those two videos are up. Wait, the cards might be there. Up in the cards if you want to check out all of my most anticipated books of 2022. Today we have 12 books, adult releases, that I am going to talk about. I think I had more anticipated adult releases of last year. There were so many amazing adult fantasies coming out in 2021, a lot of really great queer adult books coming out in 2021, and there isn't quite as many, I think, in 2022 that I am interested in, but there are several gems that I am just so excited for. So we're going to talk about my 12 most anticipated adult releases today and see if you share any of them. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me move my chair. Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, if you did not see my last two videos, I'm currently at my mom's house in Florida, so that's why the background is different. But let's just get on with the video. Here is my lovely graphic of all of my most anticipated adult books of 2022, and it is ordered by release date. So the first on the list that I'm excited about, and I think a lot of people in the adult fantasy reader space are excited about this one. This is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Lynn. This is a debut adult fantasy about a woman raised on the moon who has to flee after her magic is discovered, and in disguise she ends up training alongside the Celestial Emperor's son, only to have to betray him as she is pitted against the Emperor to save her mother. So lots of very exciting, fun political stuff going on there. And this one comes out on January 11th. So pretty soon from when this video comes out. And then the next on the list is The Circus Infinite by Wong. This is a science fiction novel set on a pleasure moon where a fugitive lands a job at a circus ruled by a crime lord and has to work together with his new friends in order to take the crime lord down. This debut comes out on March 8th. And then we have Tara Sim's adult debut. This is The City of Dusk. It comes out on March 22nd. This follows the heir to four gods who rule the four sections of the City of Dusk, and they have to work together to save the city when their parent gods abandon it. And then we have Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. Fran was a author mentor match round 8 mentor with me last year, and I am just super excited for this sapphic retelling of The Great Gatsby about a woman who stumbles into the alluring world of witchcraft and her enigmatic neighbor who is at the center of it. So Wild and Wicked Things comes out on March 29th. And then we have another person who was part of Author Mentor Match with me and Mentor with me last year, and then also this year. This is Nia, or Annie Davenport's debut, The Blood Trials, coming out on March 30th. This is a science fantasy story that follows a woman who must survive deadly trials in a racist and misogynistic military society in order to discover who murdered her grandfather. So it kind of gives me the same vibes as Blood Cyan in the sense that it is set in this sort of military situation and following a young Black woman who must kind of persevere against the racist and oppressive situation of this military training, but I think they're going to be quite different stories. In the end, they just reminded me of each other. So I think if you like Blood Cyan, which will come out earlier this year, then you might also like The Blood Trials. So I'm making a connection here. We'll see. They might be very different books. Next, we have The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Chelsea also was an Author Mentor Match round 8 mentor with me, and I'm very excited for Chelsea's debut. This is a fantasy, comes out on May 17th, and it follows a smuggler, her djinn bodyguard, and a cowardly prince on a quest to find a magic lamp that has the power to revive their barren land. It's a fun 1001 Arabian Nights sort of mashup retelling adult fantasy, and I'm very excited for it. And then next on the list we have Alexandra Rowlands' A Taste of Iron and Gold, which is a fantasy romance following a disgraced prince and his new bodyguard as they discover a counterfeiting conspiracy that could destroy the kingdom's economy, and they have to work together to take it down and fall in love in the process. And then we have Zabe Alor's adult debut. This is Silk Fire. This is about a courtesan who develops powerful magic and that makes him a political commodity. I love a good human as weapon political fantasy story. I think potentially this is my most anticipated of all of these adult books, though there's a couple here that I'm very excited for. But this one, Silk Fire, comes out on July 5th. Another fantasy romance, we have A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. This one centers a political marriage between two men who must learn to trust each other when an unknown faction attempts to destroy their new alliance. This one reminds me a lot of Winter's Orbit, which was one of my favorite adult romantic science fiction. It wasn't romantic fantasy, it was romantic sci-fi, but it was one of my favorite adult novels of 2021. So I'm very excited for A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, and hopefully I will love it just as much as I loved Winter's Orbit. And then coming out on September 22nd is the highly anticipated conclusion to the Deadly Education trilogy, or the Scholomance trilogy. This is The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik, who is one of my favorite authors. If you have not read A Deadly Education yet, it is a contemporary fantasy following a girl who goes to the deadly school of Scholomance, where all the young mages are brutally trained to survive in a very hostile world where there are creatures called mals that hunt magic users. And if you love a super powerful main character and plot twists and just like very deep world building, I would check out A Deadly Education. Both A Deadly Education and its sequel, The Last Graduate, were two of my favorite books of last year, so I'm just very excited to read the conclusion to the trilogy. Finally, the final two books of my most anticipated adults release of 2022 list don't have release dates yet. They're gonna come out hopefully sometime in the fall is what's currently listed. The first is Emily Tesch's novel debut. Emily Tesch wrote Silver in the Wood and its sequel, which was a Tor novella duology, which I absolutely adored. And her first novel is Some Desperate Glory. This is a science fiction novel about the remnants of humanity and a young woman who defies her fate as a broodmare to take the revenge for humanity into her own hands. Finally, another author whose Tor novellas are among my favorite stories of all time is Niveau. Into the Riverlands is the third book in the Singing Hill Cycles novellas, Tor novella series. I adored the first one, Empress of Salt and Fortune, and I really liked The Tiger That Came Down from the Mountain, which was the second. The Singing Hill Cycle novellas are all sort of standalone companions to each other. They all follow the same main character, who is a non-binary historian named Chi, and all of these stories that Chi is learning about, these powerful women and these queer characters in this Vietnamese fantasy world, and very excited for Into the Riverlands. So there you go. Those were all of my most anticipated 2022 releases. You can now go back to those other two videos and see them all 56 books that I am excited to read in this year, 2022. It's fine. It'll be fine. Please let me know in the comments if you also are anticipating any of those adult releases, or if you have any other adult releases that you're anticipating, especially any science fiction or fantasy adult releases. I would love to get some more on my list because I feel like this is a very light list compared to what I had last year. So I'm very much looking forward to talking with y'all in the comments. Oh, and also don't forget to check out my description for causes that need your support. I always have links down there that you can check out. But with that, look forward to my next videos. I'm going to be reacting to my goals that I set for 2021 and seeing if I completed my reading and writing goals of 2021, and then I'm also going to be setting my goals for 2022. So check out those two videos that'll be coming on Friday and on next Tuesday.